running for the devil.
It's running with the devil. I love when you sing songs because you've never gotten all of the lyrics right, or apparently the tune. I had that thought, and then I was like, maybe I'm misremembering. I was like, I'm not going to be the asshole that corrects you
Spirit in the sky
to get corrected again. And I was like, well, what else? Let it go. And then I was like, fuck, I should have said something.
Like
could have had the best.
Yeah. You got pipes like these, it doesn't matter what the words are.
With the devil. Why would you run for the devil?
He's hot. Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Hello.
Easy.
I just used all my energy.
Oh no, that was like with the war. I'm done.
Yeah, that's right. I overdid it on Ghostfacers this week.
Yeah, listen to Ghostfacers. Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
That's right.
Speaking of listeners like you, one of you gave us a fucking review. And I'm gonna fucking read it, and you're gonna listen to it. And we're all gonna like it.
Pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Coming in with a real aggressive energy.
Now sit down, shut up, and get ready for fucking reviews.
Oh my god! Open your ears.
Open your ear hole and ready for me to pour this review in.
Good lord!
Got a fucking thumb in a review.
Wait, hang on.
It was a 5-star review, number 172. Through Twitter.
Oh, no.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope. From Dami Dimok and Jalad.
Hell yeah.
It's just Dami Dimok.
I know.
How could I not? Who goes on to say, if you're into DC, I highly recommend checking out the Dr. DC podcast, a very entertaining show full of knowledge and fun, also a great community.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shaka when the tweet sent.
Oh, reviews wide open.
Reviews wide open.
Yeah.
I was trying.
Fell.
I know, but I was trying to think of like one more. I can't remember what all of the Dharma and Jalad things are, but
Shaka when the walls fell is his hands wide open.
Yeah, I don't remember.
This is
what
really
all
good
of them are.
content.
No, just let's hold in the pause for a minute.
This is Jurassic. This is Italian Jurassic Park all over again.
Thank you, Damiana.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Definitely. 172. We're getting dangerously close to 200.
I mean, I wouldn't say dangerously.
I mean, out of like
this review puts us closer. I mean, we've almost doubled what you initially promised we had to do.
No, we got Ghostfacers. Would you have rather done Ghostfacers?
It doesn't matter what I would have wanted. It matters what you said.
Oh, as long as you can look like the better person.
I am the better person.
Just because you're more people doesn't mean you're better. I will not
be taking questions at this time.
More doesn't mean better.
Listen. She went out of her way. Not our way. She went out of her way to give us this review.
I mean, she did it on Twitter. It wasn't that far out of her way.
By the way, hey, Twitter owned by Elon Musk now.
So does that mean we can get him on the podcast?
I told you this. The Beaverton is like Canadian The Onion.
Yes.
And there was this great Beaverton headline. And this Twitter instantly bursts into flames and runs over pedestrians as soon as Musk takes over.
Very funny.
Which I really appreciated.
Very funny.
No.
Well, thank you for that review. This marks the last week of prescribed reading month.
That's right.
Holy shit.
I don't know. It's the way you said read. Kind of.
This is a review, but I'm here to say Dr. DC Podcast is a 5-star way.
Hey, but listen. Sentence doesn't make sense, but you landed it syllabically.
If I said the 5-star way, it would have landed it, but it's okay.
It was pretty good.
Look, it was coming out of my mouth, and I didn't know what was coming next, so usually it's the in, and not the out.
Easy. Yeah, it's the last week of prescribed reading month. You pick things for us to read. This is the second annual, even though we're in year 5 of the podcast because you only recently started caring. And This one was based on the general kind of theme of being painfully 90s.
Yeah, obviously. That's how we got there.
Selected by our Golden Age patrons.
It's 100% how we got there.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why would you say it this way?
I don't know what you mean. We got there because
of what I just said.
There's literally, had you chosen had any other option been voted upwards, I don't know what we would have chosen. It certainly wouldn't have been this.
I don't know what would have happened because I don't even pick them.
I can't imagine that this book would fall into those other categories. Who's to say?
Really bad at improv, man.
No, and what? But this week, the final week, we're choosing The Hacker Files, and number 1.
A book that I thought, I mean,
Yes.
first of all, you kind of fucked up.
How did I fuck up?
Because we're supposed to pick something that people can read along with, but this is
didn't
not
know.
on DC Universe Infinite. It's not a good. What do you mean? I didn't know. Just like take 2 seconds.
I
and search.
have the book. I went through.
This is where I'm going with this. Somehow you have this whole series. You don't just have this issue. You have all 12 issues of the Hacker Files. How the fuck did that happen?
I think I got.
Was that in the shit we got last year?
I can't remember if it was in the shit we got or if it was part of a different big collection that I bought.
I don't know how you ended up with that. I was like, because I like went to look for it. I was like, oh, it's not on DC Universe Infinite. And then I was like, I couldn't find it on Comixology. I was like, where would, like, Richard wouldn't go an extra step to some like pirate site. I was like, where did he find it? It must be somewhere. And then you were like, I have it. And I was like, what? The last thing in the world I expected was for you to have physical copies of any issue of the Hacker Files, let alone
Every issue of
the Hacker Files. Truly insane.
I am so happy I have this book.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun, like, curiosity. It's a good thing to have in a collection, I would say.
Like, who else is going to have this? Like,
yeah, I think that's what I like about it, is it's a real, like, what the fuck kind of book.
When someone's like, I'm a fan of DC Comics, you're like, oh yeah? Do you know the Hacker Files? It's so painfully, like...
It would only be better if you had Thriller from last year. The weird pick from last year.
I do have that.
Thriller?
Yes.
Oh, shit, you do have Thriller.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, you really have gone... Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
right.
how I chose
yeah.
that.
Well, shit. Crazy.
Look, I want the weirdest fucking shit that...
And I respect that. Listen.
Yeah.
This book's... this particular issue, Hacker Files number 1...
Yeah.
It's from 1992.
Yeah, it's aggressively from 1990.
It couldn't be from any other year. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
It is so like a fly in amber. And the amber is 1992.
It really is.
And it's written by Louis Shiner. Pencils are Tom Sutton. Inks Mark Buckingham. Colorist is Laverne Kinzierski.
Wow.
Louis Shiner also did the letters, and it's edited by Robert Greenberger. Why don't you give a little, other than, adhering to the painfully 90s thing from our patrons, why did you pick this? Just because it's like a weird what the fuck thing, or was there anything beyond that for this selection?
I think for me, largely it was weird, and I've had this book for a while now, and I've been like I one of the great things about this month is that I can force myself to read something I probably would never have read.
Sure.
Otherwise. Like, when else would I have a reason to read the Hacker Files?
Sure. Yeah.
It's
yeah. Heaven forbid you just read the things you own.
I read things I own. I do read. Is it to like the speed in which the collection is growing? Maybe not. But
definitely not.
Not the point. For every 50 I bring in,
you're like a man snowshoeing away from an avalanche
while creating a new avalanche with his heavy footsteps. really not helping anything. And also like calling on the gods for more snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second I saw this book, this series in general, it's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. To have it be a straight up mainline DC book is crazy.
I think the thing that kind of surprised me with this is that it's not like a Vertigo thing.
Exactly.
I don't mean that from a quality perspective.
No.
We'll get into that.
The
But
language.
I just mean like
the vibe.
It's not superheroes. It's got a weird vibe.
They
it's
do
kinda
mention
like,
superheroes.
Well, yeah. I know, but the superheroes are adjacent even in the Vertigo thing. They're not gone. But like, I think I was surprised that it was just like, who is this?
Why is it DC?
Yeah.
I know. No, that's part of the reason.
Because the thing with Thriller, and we talked about it last year, was
it's a superhero concept.
But also Thriller came out before Vertigo.
Yeah.
There wasn't a Vertigo.
It would have been a Vertigo otherwise.
Yeah. There was that thing where I think it was like the writer or the editor was like, I could have had Alan Moore for Thriller, but I was like, nah. Like, because he felt like loyalty to the original guy, and so Alan Moore went to Swamp Thing, and then that like birthed Vertigo.
The series that could have come, the Ultimate Universe.
That was
Thriller
the whole
is the big one.
setup there, but we're in 1992.
Yes. Vertigo exists. There is no reason for this to exist on DC. It's part of the reason why I'm so obsessed with it.
I mean, like, it's fine, but it feels weird because it feels like if you want to do something like a little off kilter, you go there. But I guess maybe Vertigo was like, that's not good enough for what we're doing right now, because I think that would be a fair thing to say.
It is wholly a Vertigo book that it's not on Vertigo. If anything, it's not. It's not even a Vertigo book. It's something else.
No, it's like not.
Where would it belong?
Because here's the thing, Vertigo is a vibe, but especially in that era, it's also like a tier. It's like a quality, and that's 100% the disqualifying feature about the Hacker Files.
What would this be, like a Wildstorm? Where would this go?
No, I mean it's just its own thing. It's a weird curiosity. I don't know where you would put this in like those very general kind of group sense.
Totally,
and that's not a compliment.
Tell me how you really feel.
Here's the thing. I don't hate it.
No.
But like it's just kind of like boring, and like it's bad in like a sad way. Where it's bad in that it's not good. It's not bad in that it's like bad. It's just not good. It's the saddest thing it can be.
It doesn't really do anything.
It doesn't do anything, and it also, I mean, I don't know much about the writer other than he's like a novelist. He's an author, like a sort of cyberpunk, kind of. And that stuff's in there, but like other than that, I don't know much about it. But just on its own, in a bubble, reading this book, it really feels like I got picked on in school and for being like a cool computer guy, and now I wrote the book that shows that the cool computer guy's cool.
Yes,
it's really what this book feels like.
Did you read the thing at the back?
I couldn't, man.
I won't read it, but there's a thing that is at the very back.
Love that there is the Batman Returns poster on the back cover.
Oh, I know. So good.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Again, aggressively 1992.
Yeah.
There's things for Cool World in this. There's like...
Yeah.
Like, it's got Boomerang in there with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, a movie I'd never heard of before today.
Great movie. But yeah, there's like there's this, like, what would you even call this? Like a letter from the writer on the back.
Yeah, it's like a letters column, but because it's the first issue, they don't have letters from
readers.
So like
the writer wrote,
but it's like
it's so long.
It's so long. I couldn't be bothered,
and it was very much.
I might do it later, but like I literally just read this before we recorded because again, you have a physical copy of the Hacker Files, and I couldn't read it in advance.
But yeah, he goes into like why he read it. He talks about working for a Texas computer company called Warex. Like he's got background. You're 100% correct.
He definitely has background, and it's very clear as you're reading it, both in a good and bad way, but like oof. Do you want to just get into it?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's a really simple concept.
There's not a ton of plot.
No.
The plot very basically is there is this hacker, he goes by Hacker, his name is Jack.
Yes.
Sometimes he goes by Jacker.
Jacker, yeah, that's obviously.
Ugh.
I totally hacked off.
I mean,
ouch.
oh no. And he gets called by basically the DOD.
Yeah.
To come to the Pentagon because something's wrong with all of their systems. ARPANET and NORAD and all of these things have gone down. SAC. I can't remember what all of these are for.
Yes.
Strategic Air Command.
Yes, there
SAC.
it is.
All of these networks are down, and he goes and he like types some stuff in. He goes like, "Your disk space is full." And he's like, "Thank you, 1992."
I know.
And he goes, "You have a virus." The plot is the Pentagon got a virus. And he's like, "I bet you don't even know how a virus works. You're in my world now." Like, all right, man.
Strap into the Matrix.
Yeah, cool. And basically the issue ends with like he kind of breaks into like this secret server room that he's not supposed to go into, and he's looking some stuff up, and he's like, "Oh fuck, it's worse than I thought." And you see a thing about like missile command and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, okay, so the virus is like getting at real bad stuff."
Yes.
And then he gets like arrested. Basically, you learn that like the company that Digitronics, who does all of the computers that are affected, that are in the Pentagon.
Yes.
He used to work. He got fired from them. Like,
Yeah.
we don't talk anymore.
Those fucking squares couldn't handle how fucking righteous I am in the computer world.
Oh god, he's so goddamn cool. His greasy ass hair and his ugly fucking anarchy t-shirt.
Oh my god.
So, but essentially that's the plot, though. And then the issue ends. There's not a ton going on. There are other details and things that we'll talk about as we get into it, but that's essentially story-wise all that happens.
I wonder if the people who made the movie Hackerz read this, because it kind of looks like Keanu Reeves.
I was almost going to ask the opposite. Not that I think Louis Scheiner needs inspiration from the movie Hackerz, but I was just wondering more about
Hackerz came out in 95.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Hollywood is probably usually a late adopter.
Yeah.
So it must be a thing that's in the zeitgeist. Computers are getting more ubiquitous. Hacking, blah blah blah, code.
But this guy even like kind of looks like Keanu. Like,
but you know what I mean. And then like a couple years down the line, they go like, "And we finally got around to making a movie about that thing everyone's talking about."
Yes.
Are you still talking about it?
So funny.
Yeah, it does. I was kind of curious about the timeline of that.
I know, and because I was like, is this trying to be that? And then I was like, oh, maybe that's trying to be this. I was like, what?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start with.
Here's the thing. It's accurate. Like, as somebody who like went to school for computer programming, it's accurate.
Well, yes. So let's talk about it. You mentioned Louis Scheiner, the writer, has experience. He clearly knows his stuff, and yes, this book is full of very like authentic code and terminology and language and an understanding of 90s it's still basically how viruses work. That hasn't really changed, and things like that. That's all super accurate. I'm going to throw a kind of hot take out there, though.
Okay.
This book is has a worse approach to talking about the inside baseball things of hacking than New Guardians 2 did to talking about HIV.
I would say...
You remember how we were talking about, I looked a bunch of stuff up, and here's an info dump.
Yes. Oh, no,
this guy knows his stuff and info dumps, and I think it reads worse.
This is a Green Arrow level of info dump about.
How dare you? First of all, I deliberately didn't bring that.
I know.
I'll defend that book to the day I die.
This is very much like actually as a fucking comic book.
I think the problem with it is it's like. Here's a weird quirk I found with the writing.
Okay.
It's the narration boxes.
Yeah.
Like the narration.
Oh, the weird.
Is Jack.
Yeah.
Because he's commenting on things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the narration boxes also act like editor's notes.
Yes.
But without being editor's notes.
Yes.
Where like sometimes he's just like, oh, this prick, blah, blah, blah. Like, like it's like inner monologue, the way a narration box is.
Yes.
And then sometimes it like someone says like, "Oh, the sack is down," and he just goes Strategic Air Command. Where it's like, so
I know.
is his inner voice reminding him what things are, or is he talking literally to us? Like, is this Rorschach's journal?
Yes,
but it's not.
No,
it's just I think there's a really unclear
connection to the
usage of those boxes, and I don't. I'm reading too much into it. I'm overthinking it, but I wonder if it's like a general, like, I don't know if Louis Shiner did comics before this or not, or if it's like a slight unfamiliarity with the format.
Yeah.
Maybe he intended it to be something. I mean, he's the letterer though too, so I don't know. I don't know what happened, but those narration boxes are not used consistently, and it's super like off-putting. I got to that bit where it's like, yeah, I mean, I know what NORAD is. Why are you thinking it? It's like,
yes,
yeah,
it's it's very poorly written.
It really is, and I mean, and some of it is the info dumpy kind of stuff, which whatever. I mean, it has that thing that is a very typical writer problem of like, I know everything about this thing, and I need to prove that I know everything about this thing. You see it in like historical fiction where it's like, why are we like talking about this guy over there? So like, we get it. We know what happened in this year. But it's definitely written like that. But also, I fucking hate how Jack is written. I hate his
he's the worst.
Like, he's like this, like, authentic or not, he's got that like loner greasy hair thing, and he's like, "You're in my world now.
I know.
Fuck you, square." Like, everything he says is like, "You didn't let me play baseball, but now I'm here, and I bet you wish you to Control Alt Delete now, you piece of shit." It's like we get it. You were picked on,
pencil pushing dick fucker.
That's the whole thing. Is like, but it's so like, it's not ironic.
Yes.
It's one thing to be like, no, they actually need your skills now. Yeah, they were wrong to doubt you or laugh at you or whatever. But the book is also framed it like, he is the coolest fucker on earth.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, is he?
It's a very 1992 version of like hacker cool guy.
It's so funny.
It's,
I mean, but not intentionally.
I love that the name of this issue's name is Soft War.
Yeah. Cool.
Unless you like actually think about that, and then it's not cool. Yeah. Soft War. It's like not. It's like not like.
It's when you're thumbing the war in.
It's when you've had too much to drink and you can't war.
Yeah.
You can't get your war hard.
Yeah. You limp your way across a sovereign border. It's yeah. I mean, whatever. That's the least of my problems with this book. It's
also,
the weird title for it.
I mean, it's bad looking, but it's interesting because the art, especially on the cover, is computer generated artwork from 1992.
Oh, can I see it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
The front cover is. The inside isn't.
Yeah.
The inside's still bad art, but
now here's the thing. In general, I do not like the art in this issue, but I have to point out that there are a couple of like kind of close up in the rain sort of shots of Jack, of Hacker.
Yes.
Where I kind of go like, again, I'm getting my years mixed up,
sure.
But there's a real vibe that's similar to like Jack Knight, Starman.
Oh, sure.
Where it's that counterculture, like,
yeah.
You bunch of fucking squares kind of thing. I don't mean in terms of the quality of the art, but there's definitely like a similar aesthetic, sort of, and I guess they're both riffing on the sort of like punk grunge kind of shit. But
yeah,
so maybe I shouldn't be surprised by that. But I did notice that, and I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah. Art wise, I think it's pretty bad.
Oh yeah,
faces are, and here's the thing, Bruno. Bruno turned me on to actually paying more attention to this. I think the part of the problem is the inking.
Really?
Like, have a look at this page. This is a page of Hacker being met at the Pentagon, and he has to give a thumbprint, and he's walking through the building, and this guy is escorting him. It's page 6 if you or looking at this online, or you managed to own it. But have a look at the panels on page 6 and look at his face. Like, what is being inked there?
Oh, weird.
It's the same weight inking for like beard stubble, actual shadows, possible like crags or scars on his skin, bags under his eyes. It's all the exact same weighting. So it ends up looking like his face is like pixelated, but there's a version of that where it could be on purpose and digital and cool, and that's not what's happening here. It's like messy. There's no definition in faces and stuff like that.
Part of it also could be potentially a printing issue too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of things that are playing together on it, and then I think you add to that the problem that I think what did I say? It's Tom Sutton is the penciler. I don't think he's consistent with how people look.
Oh my God, no!
Like,
I mean,
like
look at
Hackerz
this.
himself, like Jack. His face changes in every panel he's in.
Yeah.
Like structurally, I mean.
Oh yeah.
And so when you compound that with like,
he looks like either like a 60-year-old drunk or like Keanu Reeves.
my problem, I think, with the inking, if I'm trying to put it to words, is that it's trying to do detailed work with the thickest possible, like gauge pen.
It's like you're using like a Sharpie.
But if you were doing like Phil Hester stuff where it's all like block, like Phil Hester's art is always like that kind of block colors, block shade. Like that's the thing that defined that look of Green Arrow. It looks great on like the more recent like Bendis Justice League stuff. Like it's a cool look and it's very deliberate, but this looks like I'm gonna do all the fine work with the thickest pen I can find.
Yeah, it was a fucking Sharpie. That's what it is. Yeah, like or like a permanent marker.
Yeah. That's at least what it looks like from the outside. Obviously, I'm not an inker. There's a nuance there I don't understand, but I don't like it.
It is bad.
Yeah. With the exception of there is a single panel in this book where I was like, oh shit, could this be good? And it's the very last page. It's the second panel, or the second last panel on the very last page. Jack has been knocked out and he's waking up, and it's this sort of like... last page of the story. He's waking up, and it's this sort of like,
oh sure, yeah.
It looks like the Scanner Darkly kind of thing. It's a cool, like lots of flat colors, no like details, no face or anything. It really conveys like the disorientation of waking up after passing out and stuff like that. Like that shit, I was like, oh fuck, there's something there, but it's the second last panel of this boring ass issue.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
It's so the general sort of the way that the story goes basically is that there's this virus at the Pentagon. They end up calling this guy because he like wrote the like he essentially wrote the like software that they're using for these computers.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we upgraded all the passwords. You need a password to get in, and he does the fucking the Nick Fury. You better keep both eyes open, and he has some backdoor thing that lets him in.
So funny.
And they're like, oh, super user. Like it even says like super user. Welcome.
Big Daddy, Big Dick, super user. Oh my god,
definitely the energy of it.
I'm opening up for you.
Again, I keep coming back to it, but I like guffawed reading it when he's like, "You're in my world now." It's like, cool, man.
Sorry, it's super user privileged, long time no see, Jack.
Yeah,
the computer wants to fuck you even.
Yeah. Because I programmed it to. Yeah, this guy's got strong incel energy.
1,000%.
Which, that's totally the hacker. I was going to say trope, but possibly truth of the time.
Now back off. I need to concentrate.
Yeah,
it was like this computer.
Yeah, like this guy's a brain surgeon or whatever. Like just hit backspace. Like if you fuck up, just undo it.
The thing that I
don't know anything about hacking.
The thing I really hate too is that like he designed this software so that when he's in the back end of it, it like visualizes. It's like
no. So here's the thing. That's not how he designed the software. This is like, I actually kind of don't hate this bit. He has a sort of like Sherlock mind palace thing.
No, it's not. No, it is.
He
coded.
says it's how he envisions it.
No, he says file blocks. They're graphic representations of data.
Here, hang on. Here it comes. When it's good, it's like I go right into the screen.
Yeah. As if he goes in, but
it
still
looks like the inside. Yes. Oh, I see. He actually did design it.
Yes.
See, I pictured it as him kind of like like the way he,
Yes.
as he's coding, he sees this.
Yeah.
But
No,
he's
it's
actually
worse.
he actually sees it. It's
It's
just
worse.
a bunch of fucking.
It's a really bad file system where they come in 3D columns that you need to.
Isn't rule number 1 of coding is use the least code
Yes.
possible, not render a bunch
Yes.
of 3D images in the middle of the DoD server?
Yes. This is the thing. This is the thing that upset me.
I totally read it as like it was in his head, and I was like, "Oh, that's a cool idea."
Well, when I first saw this, I thought, "Oh my god, does he actually go inside
Or
the
he gets, like,
computer?"
sucked in.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh no, oh he's visualizing it," and then he says, "I coded it this way," and I go, "No, this is bad. This is bad."
Oh shit! Yeah, that's so much worse. So he's also bad at the thing he's the best at. I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do is not the best.
So something's chewed up the net access controllers. I'm like, that's not even a way no, that's not how that works.
I mean, listen, I'll take Louis Shiner's. I wasn't coding.
your disk space is shot too. I love that.
I love saying. I think this is the thing that made me laugh the most. Is like, it's one thing to just say like your disk space is all like is gone, or like something's filled up your drive.
Yeah.
Like to say something like that, but go, your disk space is shot. It's like, we got to make this guy sound like he knows cars,
Yeah.
he knows women, he knows like. It's all the language of like aggressive toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Stuffed into this. I mean, it makes sense in a way. It's stuffed into this incel, but yeah, the part of the. I'm gonna kind of counterpoint a lot of my gripes about this character. A thing this issue does very, very well is he gets easily the shit kicked out of him.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of was like,
yeah, at least he doesn't like know kung fu.
because I was worried about, because like he's in that back server room. The security guard comes in and he goes like, you need clearance. He's like, I have a pass. And you're like, not in here, you don't. And the security guard grabs him and he turns around and there's a moment in the kind of scuffle where I was like, if he pulls some sort of like, I learned this wrist lock from Karate Joe.
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna be really mad if he was like also good at fighting, but he just gets like shit canned and then like wakes up in the hospital, and this guy that he was like, oh fuck, it's you, is there.
Love it.
Now here's a question I had.
Yeah.
And I will fully admit I did not look this up because
Okay.
because I literally just read this. The whole time at the DOD, he's being escorted and kind of like supervised by a sergeant called Steel with a steel hand.
I know.
Is this meant to be like that mid-generation? Like there was like Commander Steel.
Yeah,
and there's like,
I think so. I haven't looked it up though, and I can't imagine we'd even find out.
Yeah, it's got to be him though, right?
Yeah,
So
I
like,
would think.
that's the
Connection.
like, because he even says to him something about like, I thought you were more like superheroes.
You were more about superheroes.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, it's got to be him, right?
Yeah.
But
think
because they
so.
don't go too far, other
No.
than saying Steel a lot,
Yes.
they don't go too far down that road.
No,
But I
I
was
think
like,
it
he
is
must
him.
be
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. I think that's where the connection is here.
Which is kind of fun in its own way. Yeah.
One of my favorite things about like old like tech-based like media like this is when they're like, we've got the most advanced computer ever. This has got 10 megabit drive.
Yeah.
It's got an HD TV.
Well, so here's my I may have said this before. My dad,
was a programmer. Yeah.
career like programmer.
Yep.
When he started at the company where he started, it was literally like a giant wall unit, and they were hand punching cards to slot into the wall. And by the time he left, it was like the mid 2000s, mid 2010s.
Yeah.
And he saw it all happen, and he went from like literally manually punching holes in data cards to writing in actual codes and things like that. And so he saw that whole evolution, and I remember him talking about there was some moment like in the 80s or whatever, and they got like, you see this new bad boy, half the size, twice the disk space. It's like, how much you got? And there's like 256K.
So
like,
funny.
Of disk space.
Yes.
And it would still be like the size of like a dishwasher.
Well, yeah. in this thing, they were like, this thing's got 10 megabits. It could basically go forever. There should be no reason why it's like.
It's really, I mean, the light year advances in computing in a relatively short amount of time are really wild when you think about them that way.
It definitely
also insane that like people landed on the moon with fucking like analog
fucking
dials and
calculators.
switches and like probably wood panels inside the fucking cockpit.
I will say that I did have a moment here where I was like, man, I miss coding a little bit. Like,
yeah,
I was reading like the if this and that statements, and I'm like,
yeah, I mean, so you have a more recent
background in programming.
Yeah. There's a couple of pages in this book where the spread is like almost like the virtual space.
Yes.
There's a couple of panels of the actual characters, but it's mostly like a shape or just like a high contrast like image or something.
Yeah.
And then like text and things like that. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt and assuming for the era and for what they're talking about, it's relatively authentic. But like when you look at it, does it feel like, yeah, that's about right? Or do you look at it and go like, that's just like letters?
There's a couple moments where it's just letters. Largely, though, it is right.
It seems pretty legit.
Yeah, like
from an outside perspective.
Yeah, I'd say like 99% of it. There was like a moment, I can't remember what it was.
I think it makes for bad reading, but I could tell it's legit. Like the way they talk about like this whatever root thing, like all the like the fucking terminology, would be like that definitely sounds real, but I don't like reading this.
Yeah. 100%. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, when you try to do something legit, there's a point where you can pass it and where it becomes too legit to
quit.
Yeah.
I wanted to, there's one more thing I wanted to bring up. So in this issue, there's a sort of passing reference and a very short montage that shows this group of hacker kids called the Speed Metal Kids.
Yeah.
And he says like, they're hackers, not crackers. Hackers mean they're here for knowledge. Crackers are just break things.
Yeah.
Cool. As soon as I saw the words hackers and crackers, I had Weird Al's It's All About the Pentiums.
That's very funny.
In my head. Want to be hackers, code crackers, slackers. But they make some comment about how Jack like hangs out with these kids.
Yeah,
and Jack, I mean,
weird.
Jack looks like he's like lived a life. He
Yes.
looks fucking haggard. Is there supposed to like... I read it as like, is he the like Fagin of some sort of group of like kid hackers? Is this like a Oliver Twist thing where they're like this? Yeah.
My reading of it was that like he's just like, because of like probably like online forums or something like that, like he's just been connected to these kids or something, or
Right.
like he's just fallen into part of the community. They're all part of the same community,
Right.
And they're really talented or something.
Right.
But you're not wrong reading it that way,
Right.
yeah. Like I that's not crazy.
I mean, I have not read any more issues.
you could.
I'm all right. Yeah, but there was that to it too. Is there anything else you want to like say or point out in this book?
The only thing that I want to mention is one of my favorite, especially because it's 1992 and they don't really have like the language isn't there yet. They keep referring to it as like, oh, it's connected to internet rather than the internet, which I find very funny.
Oh yeah, back when it was with a capital I.
Yes, but it was all this. I mean, it's fully all capitals, but they just keep being like, yeah, it's. You have no idea now it is connected to internet.
That's interesting too. Actually,
it's just one of those things where it's just like that's
actually
not.
Is this guy? Is this writer British? Because that's also oh no, he's American. I was gonna say because that's a very like a British way of speaking where they're like, I have to go to hospital.
Yeah. I'm going to internet.
Yeah.
The Facebook is on internet.
Yeah, it's
it's bad.
Oh, I thought of the thing I wanted to talk about. I think you're on the page, or you're near it.
Uh-huh.
When we like drop in on Jack and he like gets this call from the DOT, he's like playing a game online with someone. Yeah, and it's a bunch of fucking hexagon cows.
Yes,
it's cattle stampede.
And your move, partner.
I know, but it's basically like a sort of Oregon Trail, but they're playing it
Marshall, you're dead.
But they're playing it multiplayer online.
But
it's a cattle.
Internet.
It's not like a shooting game. It's not like a. But it's like a cattle game.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's such a weird detail. Like, is Cattle Stampede like a popular game from the era or something? Like,
no idea.
Oregon Trail, famously a one-player game, or I guess it's not really, but it's like it's turns. It's essentially a one-player game. It's not multiplayer. It's not like we go at the same time or.
Because so there's like mountains. This first one I see. Then there's these weird cattle, and it says Cattle Stampede. Your move, partner. Then it says Run Like Hell, Marshall, you're dead. Another game. And that's it. Okay.
Game of what? Cattle Stampede?
I don't know. Very funny. Oh my god. It's such a fucking time capsule. Like,
it could be worse.
Like Alice in Chains is playing while you're reading.
It could be worse in a more aggressive way, but it's pretty boring and pretty bad. I would give this like a 1.5 capes.
This would be better if it was worse.
Yes.
It would be better if like they didn't understand the internet.
Here's the thing. Thriller was weird, but we liked that one.
Yeah.
That was a good book.
Yeah.
It was interesting and fucked up. And like, I bet if I kept reading that series, I'd be like, oh, I see. It does not land anything.
Yes. Yeah.
But that first issue was awesome.
Great
this first
setup.
issue, I was like, I
could not care less.
No, thank you.
Yeah. No. I mean, I have like a perverted like interest in reading the rest of this, but
oof. I mean, you have it. You might as well.
I know no one else has or is going to.
You might have the only full series of the Hacker Files.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Bruno, do you know of this? Is this an A or no?
What do you mean?
Behind the anarchy symbol,
right?
What's the letter that it's covering up? Because it doesn't look like an A.
Yeah, it's an A, but it's like, you know, when like a. Oh no! Wait, that goes.
This is what I mean. What is the letter that it's covering up?
Yeah, great question.
It's actually called.
Oh no, it is. It's the.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, it's the Hacker Files.
No. It is an A.
Language.
Ugh. Yeah, I really hate that. Also, like, because it's computer like illustrated on the cover. Look at this cover. Look how shitty that looks, and look how amazing the Batman Returns poster is.
I know.
Like, yeah, God, it's one of those things where you look at it and you go like, oh, maybe like all covers looked bad. Then and then you just go like, oh no, they could print like high quality stuff. It's just
it's not a printing issue. It's bad. It's because it was made in like MS Paint 1. Like
yeah, it's. Oof.
God, I love it. August 1992. Love it. Holy shit. And sold in Canada.
Yeah, I'm mad you made me read that. I mean, no, that's not even true. I'm not even mad. I'm just like, ugh, what a waste.
Let's get on the.
If you can imagine, you know, having picked a book that's largely inaccessible, we didn't get a ton of questions for this episode.
Oh yeah, big surprise.
Because it's a book you can't find or read, and most people did not even when it came out.
Love it. Let's get into the questions.
Sure.
First question comes from the email.
Check the email. It's our old friend.
Also, Stump Chunkman just got Strong Bad's record.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Stump Chunkman just got the vinyl record from Strong Bad.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, come on, for Hugwagots. Come on, for Hugwagots.
I'm sure that's on there. He sent me a video of it playing Trogdor, the Burninator, which I love. There's like the whole cheat
got a
rap.
vinyl record of Strong Bad.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a new thing that just got released or something, but he also got like a cheat rug too. And
wow, he's all in on the Homestar Runner stuff.
Yeah, only 25 years late.
Homestar 10. Will Buono.
You know what's very funny is I made a reference today. I was talking to
Homestar Runner?
No. Yeah, I made a reference about Homestar Runner to somebody because I was talking about the Ghostfacers fan base.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm fairly certain it's like 75% like women, probably over the age of 30.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like probably 10% teen girl squad.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Here's I mean, it's not a nice thing to say, but when I was studying in France,
Go on.
It was like a bunch of Canadian students on exchange as part of this program.
Yeah.
And 4 of them were literally
Teen Girl Squad?
Teen Girl Squad. Like, to the look.
The ugly one?
I mean, that's an unfair thing to say. She was not. But, like, the curly hair, the glasses. Like, if you put the two things side by side, you'd be like, wow, they cast live action Teen Girl Squad.
So-and-so, what's her face?
Yeah. And like those there's like cheerleader, so-and-so, what's her face?
The ugly one.
Yeah. Again, unfair because that wasn't true. But yeah, wild. And I remember that whole year I was just like, how is this real? They always sat together. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
It's very funny. Well, the email we have today, of course, returning pen 15, pussy@vag.com.
Fuck yeah.
It's the highest quality of writing next to this book today.
Yeah.
Who asks?
That would be fucking Hackerz email. It's like,
yes,
pussy@vag.com. Nice. 69@nice.com. 420@69.nice.
Yeah. Sweet. They ask, who's the greatest hacker in DC? Did any of the Hacker Files show up in other DC books?
Ooh.
The Hacker Files don't even show up in DC, so...
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say none of these characters show up in anything ever again. Or it's one of those things where, like, maybe there's one issue of, like, Who's Who or something. I think that was the case with Thriller and the 7 Seconds.
Yeah.
I think they had, like, a Who's Who
Jaffe
appearance.
Let us know.
I'm going to go out on a limb, though, and say, other than if Steel is who we think he is, and he's, like, that second generation, like, Commander Steel.
Yeah.
He shows up in other stuff.
Yeah. But that's just, it was a happenstance that he showed up here. And he's like the big celebrity they bring into this.
Yeah.
And not a celebrity in the rest of DC. So
yeah. DC's like, you can have Commander Steel?
Yes. It's like when Pauly Shore does an indie movie and it's like, cool.
Yeah.
They're like, we've got Pauly
when
Shore.
Pauly Shore has the "and" in the credits, like, and Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
You make this for like $20,000. Okay, sorry. So the question is, did they show up in any other things? I don't think so. Who's the greatest hacker in DC? I mean, generally speaking, we got to be talking like Cyborg,
Brainiac.
Yeah, Brainiac. Yeah, any of the very brilliant characters. Like, I think Luthor has like hacked Brainiac before, which is its own slight suspension of disbelief.
But it's probably
like
Cyborg. Yeah.
Cyborg, or
but is it
Brainiac or Kilgore is like a sentient fucking virus. Like there's
Brother Eye.
I think any of those kind of class of characters are in your like best hackers, like nothing is denied to me.
Gal Gadot.
What?
Isn't Gal Gadot a hacker in Fast and the Furious?
No, she's an ex-Mossad agent who was working for a drug kingpin for a bit and then defects.
Who's the hot hacker in? Isn't it?
That's the actress's name is Natalie Emmanuel. She was in like Game of Thrones.
Sure. Okay. Sorry. A different, very hot woman from the.
Sorry. Her character's name is Ramsey.
Sorry. Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, best hackers, we're talking about someone who is at least part
computer,
essentially. Yes. Yeah, I think that's where you're at with that.
Totally fair. All right, let's leave email and head on over to the Docs Court.
Oh. I remember you, Docs, in the Docs Court Hotel.
Oh.
You were doxing so scold and so sweet.
Wow. All right.
Giving me docks on the unmade scored. Round the dock scored. Docks in the street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea Hotel number 2, Leonard Cohen.
Wow.
Insane pull.
Where did that come from? Were you listening to it?
I'm
today?
just always sad and thinking of Leonard
sure.
Cohen.
Yeah. Dude, there's that. There's that
Silence.
There's that rapper in Toronto that's on TikTok, and he has a song that it's like, if I'm gonna be sad, I'm gonna do it with pizzazz.
Is that
Where's like the
it's AK?
Yeah. I fucking love that song so much.
Yeah, he's great. I only just recently realized he was Canadian.
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, when he performs with his Toronto Raptors jersey in Toronto.
So cool.
Hell yeah. Us Toronto Raptor fans are pretty cool. Yes.
Yep.
They're playing right now, and I really hope they don't lose.
I mean, they're going to. They're not going to win 4 games in a row against a team that beat them 3 games in a row. It could. You're right, and it has before, but they won't.
They probably won't know. I'm not an idiot.
It's not just that you have to win 4 games in a row. It's the added thing of you have to win 4 games in a row against a team that beat you 3 games in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great.
Any team can win 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
But that's the wrinkle.
Yes. Yes. Though they didn't have Scotty Barnes, which is part of it.
Sure.
Just saying.
Listen,
He had sprained ankle.
you're more into basketball than I am.
Mm-hmm.
But as someone who's been deeply invested in Toronto sports for a very long time, let me just say you're gonna save yourself a lot of heartache if you just lower your expectations now.
Was that part of your wedding vows?
Yeah. Yeah. I do.
All right, let's go to the first question from the Doc Squad. From Butt, who asks,
Your time is coming.
nice.
The rear end is nigh.
Oh my God, who touched timing to make it come?
Jesus.
What the fuck is Hacker Files, and why can't I find it on digital? Did the Hacker Files get hacked? Which pill should I take? Wake up, Neo!
Yeah. I mean,
It is weird that it's not on there.
yeah, I mean, the weirdest thing is that you picked it knowing it was like
I didn't know.
the least accessible.
I
thing
didn't
you
know
could
that.
pick.
How do
Then-
I known?
But what I'm saying is, it's not that hard to find out, and you didn't.
I don't look that kind of stuff.
I know you don't, but I'm pointing it out.
Look, this isn't about them. It's about us.
Oof.
This was for you.
Really?
I did this for you.
This?
Yeah. I'm going to do this for you now.
I'm all right. I'd give it a 1.5 out of 5.
That's from my wedding vows.
I'd give it a 1.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, why isn't it? I mean, actually, I feel like Alex Jaffe was talking about this on the doc scored, that it's just like it just takes time to digitize things.
This is not the top of the list of
No,
digitized.
because they prioritize like things that will either like tie in with stuff that's going to come out, you know,
Sure.
like TV shows or movies, or
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
big storylines or things that are connected to maybe stuff that's happening in the comics that you want to go back
Sure,
and reference.
yeah.
Like there's some sort of kind of rubric and assessment of like, how are we going to prioritize all these things? And I think what he had said, if I'm not mistaken, is that by the rough calculations, they'd be finished back cataloging and digitizing all DC Comics by like 2086.
Holy shit.
I mean, there's a lot.
So 2085, you can read this digitally.
2087.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh shit, I just like looked behind a pile of garbage and I found the Hacker Files 1 to 12. Should we digitize this? And be like, we actually kind of like mothballed the equipment that does that.
Yeah.
We sort of thought we were done.
Just take some photos with it or something.
Yeah. Use your retinal photos.
Oh, yeah. There you go. 2085.
App.
Yeah. 2087. That's of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good at sci-fi.
Yeah. Your retinal app.
Retinal photos app is what I said.
That is the most like taking a thing
It's the most
now.
90s version.
Yes.
The retrofuturism.
Yes. It's always like, one day they're going to have a screen that you're going to be able to like look at it on your lap, but it's still going to have like a panel of buttons at the bottom of it. And it's like,
Yeah. I mean, listen, I mean, you obviously can't predict the future, but I do like the near misses of something. Like if you go back and watch like old Star Trek or even TNG or something like that, where it's like, so we have video conferencing.
Yeah.
But you have to stand in front of one panel on the wall. Like it's less convenient. And also like they're always handing those, like on Star Trek, they're always handing pads.
Yes.
They don't have airdrop.
Yo.
Like I love that. Like how could they possibly have conceived that? But also that they didn't. So
I feel like you could figure that out.
We all have computers. They're all connected to the computer. But I'm going to hand you the tablet instead of just like bloop.
Yes.
Like doot, doot, doot. Now you can look at it. Doot, doot, doot. They don't do that.
I guess.
And they always have to say, like, transfer to my console. You're like, what?
Oh,
you do it. It's in the cloud.
Yeah, I always like that they have to still like go back to their. It's a thing. It's a thing I always laughed about with playing the game Mass Effect, which is the only way you can check your emails. You have to go back up to your room and check your computer.
Although, this is a huge sidebar, but we're kind of talking about computers. Anyway.
Yeah.
I've been watching season 2 of Picard.
Yes.
And no spoilers, but I almost feel like Picard has retconned all of the things we just said into making kind of sense.
Really?
They talk about, because they're in the past. They're trying to change. Something changed with the timeline, and they're in the past to fix it, to fix the timeline.
Are they going like around that era?
So they're in 2024.
Holy shit. Oh, wow.
But they're talking about, in this era, everything is connected.
Yeah.
As in the future, they deliberately don't have everything connected to everything else.
Interesting.
Because maybe that's a bad idea. Yeah. Security and just like it's untenable and it's a bad idea. Not everyone needs. Like they almost kind of like very kind of offhand basically say like, we acknowledge that the stuff in next gen is like less connected than we are now. But they're like, it's by design. It's like a fun little retcon actually. Like I don't know that it holds water or makes sense, but I like that there's like people make those observations and think about it a little bit. I think that's fun.
Yeah. Though we are getting to the point where things are actually going to be more connected. There's this really new
I hate this.
There's this really cool new sort of like movement within code where you're actually making code that like can. A good example is
if you say self-replicate, I'm going to throw myself out the window.
No. Basically, using this like common language and like coding to basically so that you can pass data more easily. So that a great example is like when you fill out your information for your driver's license, and then you go to the hospital and they're like, "Well, what's your information?" And you're like, "Aren't you the government? Like, shouldn't you just all have it?" Well, because you filled it in here, it passes to all of the different places that you would want it to go to. So you only ever have to put in information once. So there's like a basically this like interconnected like key language that you use to be able to like code so that it goes to all the places you need, so you don't have to constantly be doing that.
Yeah, it's always the convenience versus good idea kind of debate. Convenience is seldom the good idea.
Yeah, I know, it's fine.
Well, I know you're always the first adopter. Be like, can a satellite in the sky affect the temperature of my house? I'll sign up for that.
Meanwhile, you get in your car and you're like, if you just plug your phone in, it can do everything, and you're like, no. Thanks.
I use as few connectivity features as I can. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I've managed to stay away from the you can't. But I use as few as I can. I will never buy like a smart dishwasher. I don't need to start it from work. I'll just I forgot it. I'll deal with it.
I know.
It's fine.
It's infuriating because
I'll never do that shit because also it's like, so even if it's not an insidious government conspiracy thing, it's like, so if I lose my phone, now someone can just fuck with the plumbing in my house. Why would I make it easier for people to fuck with me?
I mean, I've never heard of a story of ever that anything like that.
I know, and that's a weird thing to bring up. But my point is still, why
are all your issues with plumbing in your house?
Well, listen. I always say this with my wife, who's super organized, but always loses her keys. Yeah. It's because she's very organized in everything else, but she's doing a million things, and she has no one place she keeps things.
Yeah.
Or she goes I lost my credit card because I had the wallet on the sink and then I bumped it and then it fell into the toilet and blah, blah,
yes.
blah. Yeah, and I just go, you know how my card never falls in the toilet? Because I never put it somewhere where it can't. I'm always of the opinion of, if you don't put yourself in the situation where this unlikely thing could possibly happen, it will never happen. And so that's my position on like technology. If my dishwasher is never connected to something, it can never fuck me that way. And that's my like, again, I haven't avoided technology. I'm not like a Luddite or anything, but like
you only use it as far as you have to have
yes,
it.
I am 100% a like kicking and screaming only if I must adopter of technology.
I mean, but it sounds like the wrong choice, right?
No, it's the right choice. I use some things because I need to, and the rest of it, I'm like actively actually trying to like be less connected. It's like I don't need to get a text from work on my fridge.
Sure, sure. I would never do that.
I know you wouldn't. I don't mean like my work, but
yes.
I don't need that.
No.
I
mean,
life.
I would never. Yeah, I would never even want that myself. Like, yeah. I like interconnectivity and I like simplicity.
My point is, I don't trust the government.
You're in
my world. Now.
I know. It's this. My God, where did that anarchy shirt come from?
Yeah, fucking cool as shit.
Now you're gonna fuck this computer.
Yeah, pussyadvantage.com.
All right. Next question comes from Yo Crow and Scarebro, who asks, this book seems like war games, Snowden, a dash of Ready Player One, and the current political climate all rolled into one storyline. So my question is, if you agree with that statement, do you see this happening in the real world? I mean, it's nowhere near good as any of those things.
I mean... I know this isn't where we should be getting our real news, but it's as close to like.
So what does Twitter say?
As fact checked as I feel comfortable with.
Wikipedia?
No, wasn't there some John Oliver thing about how like antiquated like the nuclear arsenal was?
Oh yeah,
where it's like on old like B drive like floppies and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, because they were all built for this one computer system.
So then, if anything, even the 1992 version of fuck, they hacked NORAD, they got the missiles. It's like they didn't.
They can't.
Like, yeah, someone has to like pick up a rotary phone to like,
no,
you like get them to turn the.
You
keys.
need to have keys. Like you can't. And they also.
I guess maybe the thing is like the thing that tells them to get the keys and put the thing in or whatever is maybe digital now, but like. There are a few steps in between. You could, like, the idea that, like, you can't just launch a thing.
No.
Right.
No, that doesn't exist.
Which is funny that, like, that's true now, or largely true now.
Yes.
I'm sure there's some more modern nuclear subs or something where that's not the case, but it's that idea, though, that there are some things that are so old that even in the 90s, this thing wouldn't have happened.
No, and they still
is really funny to me.
Yes. It's bonkers how like antiquated a lot of that stuff is, but
yeah, I mean, what do you think of some of these like comparisons, like the Ready Player One?
I think War Games
like
100%. It's the thing, and I was trying to figure out because I want to say like War Games is like 87, so it's possible.
Sure.
But let's find out right now because it's 83. Yeah, so totally trying to. When I saw him walk into the room and see that screen, I was like, oh god, this sounds like War Games.
This is only Ready Player One if Ready Player One was full of two-dimensional cattle stampedes.
Oh my god, they've got cattle stampede in this?
And just a room full of boxes.
Yeah. It's not at all that.
Yeah.
A little bit Snowden, only the fact that this happens like in government facilities, but
yeah, I guess, but it's also like I don't know. I certainly don't like the idea of things being covered up or I'm pro accountability.
Yeah.
But also I know how dumb and dangerous people are, and I'm like, we actually shouldn't know everything.
Sure.
Someone somewhere needs to be able to hold the other someone somewhere accountable, and I know that that's like a crazy messed up thing to say because that who is holding,
yes,
and so on, who watches The Watchmen. But also like I think the most reckless thing that could happen is to just give dumb random people bits of information they can't interpret.
Yes.
Like that's a worse form of misinformation where it's like where they go like it's real and you go yes but and they go but it's real and you go but you don't know how to read that. You don't know what it means. You're like inferring meaning funny? That
you know what you're describing?
Everything that I have to deal with at work constantly.
Religion.
Yes, and religion. Yes. And religion, of course. It's the thing that I talked about, like when people get the right answer the wrong way.
Yes.
It's that thing. And so
that drives you crazier than anything.
it does.
in the
So
world.
it's funny, like the idea of like that this book and that era positioned hackers as these like, you know, like this is freedom, baby. We're digital.
yes,
You know, like we're digital gypsies. We're like, this is the
pirates on the internet.
But it's like, is that what's happening here? Or is it like, are you wading too deep into ocean you do not know how to swim in?
yes,
And that's always my perspective on it, is like, I agree. There's things we don't know, and it's shadowy and fucked up. But also, is it better if I know it? And I'm not sure that's true.
the reality is also, I mean, this book does a decent job of showing what real hacking actually is.
It's pretty boring.
It's very boring, which is why this book is
other than
boring.
his digitally rendered
Yes,
bricks.
which is why they had to do that, because this whole book.
I like the idea that he's like, your disk space is shot, and you're like, is it all these visual files?
Yeah.
Is it-
That's fucking hilarious.
oh yeah, sorry.
Oops.
Yeah.
Look how cool it looks, though.
Shit.
That's just so fucking funny. Holy shit. Yes. Oh my god. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like if you real coding is like, I mean, real hacking at the end of the day was like you fucking used a Oscar Mayer wiener whistle and blew it into the phone so you could get free like phone service. Like that's the first iterations of hacking.
Sure.
Like that, like hacking is often putting in a script, letting it run. That's what happens in this.
I just said sure. I have no idea what you just said. Whistle in the phone to get free service.
Yeah, that was.
I said sure, like I understood, but I don't.
So in the in the 70s, one of like the first like versions of hacking that existed was people realized that the like payphones worked based off of like tones.
Sure.
And I can't remember exactly how they figured it out, but the Oscar Mayer wiener used to have a little Oscar Mayer wiener whistle.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. And so if you blew that into the phone when you were trying to make a collect call, it would recognize that as a free, like as you paid for it. And so you could make calls anywhere. And that was, that's like some of the first hacking that ever really existed.
Oh, I would read a comic about that.
It's cool as hell. There's a great documentary about it, but
The Speed Wiener gang.
it's a very different thing. Don't Google that. But yeah, so often it's just dropping a script into a thing. That's 90% of what this book is. This guy's like dropped in a script, got into a thing. He like the rest of it, he doesn't really do anything. He just like somebody leaves him in a room and he just like waits for a thing to happen. Like it very much is not super interesting. So let's go to the next question.
Sure.
From Dr. DC Dem Comics, who asks, this comic was written by a novelist, Louis Shiner. From other comics you've read, written by people that came into comics after they were already a name in other fields, what are some of the ones you already you really like or dislike?
Oh, sure.
Was Alan Moore a novelist first, or?
Great question.
And Neil Gaiman wasn't he?
Yes, or at least short stories, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Before comics, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that I've talked about on the show before is Rachel Pollack, whose
Sure.
run of Doom Patrol I really like.
Yeah.
I mean, I say this without really knowing her work outside,
Sure.
like as a novelist.
Yeah.
But I really like her run of Doom Patrol. N.K. Jemisin on Far Sector.
Yeah.
Like that's a dope-ass book. I don't know that I can, off the top of my head, think of, I guess other than the Hacker Files, think of one I dislike, where I'm like, that person should stick to books.
Sure.
I don't know that I can think of that offhand, but I think there's something to the idea of having like a really concrete thought in terms of the arc of a story or the angle of a story, and also having an approach to world building. When I think of something like Far Sector, it's not just about Green Lantern on a to quote Harlan Ellison, city on the edge of forever.
Sure.
But it's like we learn so much about that world. There's a whole species that is digital, and then there's that, like, the world building is a thing that, like, I mean, obviously lots of people are good at. You don't have to be a novelist for it, but when you take someone that is used to, you know, like in a novel, we gotta fill this thing. So so they think of every corner, right? It's not you get that approach, but then in something as stripped down script wise as a comic, and I think you really see like where they put a lot more thought into that.
Yeah.
Whereas someone, I don't know, I'm kind of talking in circles, I think, but it's unfair to say it's only a skill that like novelists or authors of that kind of ilk have, but I do think there is like a sensibility that the milieu in which we're exploring the main story is as important as the main story. And sometimes in serialized comics, that is forgotten, especially if it's something real down the middle, like Batman or something that. But there's something amazing about something like Far Sector, where there's all these corners of the world, and like you could easily spend another 50 issues there, you know, or in Pollock's Doom Patrol, where it's like we get this character Coagula, and then all of a sudden there's this bigger thing, and the Builders and the Tyrisii, and like,
I mean, Sandman,
of course. I mean, like one of the best examples of that. Yeah, you know. So I do think it's not unique to novelists, but I do think they bring that sensibility to 100% comics, which is really fun, because I would imagine if I were a writer and I was writing comics, it would be very easy to be like, fuck, I only have 22 pages and I can't fill them with words.
Yeah.
So we got to just be lean, mean. And there's something nice about a writer that is so deft at storytelling that they could be like, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But the how we get there is as important as the getting there. And I think there's something to be appreciated there.
No, I always love that. Yeah. That's great.
I don't think that's happening in the Hacker Files #1. No.
All right. Next question from Warsmith17, who asks, this is more about hackers in the DC universe in general. Is Calculator still around as the villain equivalent to Oracle? I've enjoyed reading books from around Infinite Crisis that had him filling that role.
Right. So the Calculator is like a kind of Silver Age Batman villain who used to literally wear a big calculator. He was like a gimmick villain.
Sure, yeah.
And then, kind of mid-2000s, or possibly even a bit earlier, he kind of got reinvented as a sort of like anti-Oracle, where he was the information broker for villains. And he became that for the Secret Society of Supervillains. So Oracle had this like mirror counterpart.
Sure.
Which was an interesting idea. And they were pitted against each other. Calculator was like a villain in Birds of Prey and through some events and stuff. Calculator is the guy that built the Internet that they end up using in Final Crisis to communicate because they can't use the Internet because it's been corrupted, et cetera, et cetera. Where is Calculator now? It's funny that you asked this because Calculator only very recently, like in the last couple of months, showed up again.
Really?
Starting a brand new secret society of supervillains.
Whoa.
The premise of this secret society was basically like, we started this because the Legion of Doom are fucking crazy.
Oh.
Like Luthor and Sinestro and Joker and Grodd and them, like they like almost tore all of reality apart.
Like that, we just want to like make
we just want to be
like,
villains.
Yeah.
It's almost that kind of rogues thing that I like. And they were like, so we started the Secret Society of Supervillains, and it's like Calculator, Deadline, like like it's like shit like that.
We're bad. We're not that bad.
And they're like, and we're gonna like help each other find jobs, and we're gonna blah blah blah, and it's gonna be great. Isn't that great? And this is in an issue of Deathstroke Incorporated. And Deathstroke goes, interesting, and blows Calculator's brains out.
Holy
and takes
shit.
over, calls himself King Deathstroke, and takes control of the Secret Society. So Calculator recently showed up and died.
Wow.
That's where he is right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the last question from Crimson Raven, who asks, this is sort of the other direction for that previous question, which is which hacker in the DC is the best in terms of skill and not some kind of metahuman superpower that gives them an advantage with computers. So if we're taking the fact that they are themselves maybe part computer, that's a way.
Remove that.
Yeah. And they're just.
I mean, we must throw Oracle.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Barbs.
I mean, a lot of that list could be Bat Family adjacent.
Of course.
Like Tim Drake, very accomplished hacker.
Batman himself.
A Tim Drake adversary.
Sure.
Well, I mean, not just Tim Drake, everyone, but Anarchy. I think at one point Anarchy hacked the Bat computer.
Yeah. Anarchy. He's got an Anarchy shirt on. And
yeah, this is my world now. What a stupid fucking thing to say in the middle of the goddamn Pentagon.
I love it.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, Anarchy's got to be in there. I'm pretty sure Luthor has hacked a mother box or Brainiac or some shit like that. So you could probably throw him in there.
He's got to be.
He's got to be up. Your genius characters, you kind of lump computer skills in there, but other than that, it's got to be Oracle, calculator, arguably, Anarchy. Yeah, there's probably someone very obvious I'm not thinking of, but
I can't think of anybody else.
Cisco got a code dampener.
Sure, yeah, sure. A computer dampener.
Yeah, I mean that's the last thing a computer wants.
Yeah, no, it's not good at all.
That's bad for a computer.
It's funny, and it's for the best, which I think largely
Felicity Smoke. If we're going Arrowverse, it's Felicity Smoke, the greatest hacker in the Arrowverse.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a thing DC does pretty well, which is it doesn't really age itself in that way often. It doesn't. There's not a lot of computer stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and I think you're right.
It's not a thing I bump up against very often.
But I do think there's a lot of it would be it would be specific dialogue in a thing where maybe Tim Drake is oh, the root command C : backslash. You go ugh. All right. But yeah, I know what you mean. Generally, it feels relatively quote unquote timeless.
Yes.
I think, interestingly, on that note, Digitronics, the company in this book,
does it exist outside of this?
I believe is the company that supplies the Bat computer.
Oh, interesting.
Not that they know it. They're not and our great client Batman.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure that's Digitronics.
HGTV.
Yeah. And then Jack goes I can get into the Bat computer.
Let me move over, you fucking cuck. You're in my world now.
Super Bat user. Ooh. Long time no see, Jackie.
Oh, I'm your computer.
Hello, Smithers. You are quite good at turning me on. You should probably try and ignore that. The dream where they fly in through the window. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Digitronics is referenced outside of this book.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
If it's the Bat computer, I'm pretty sure the Justice League main computer is the same as because it's all set up by Batman.
Wow.
So I think Digitronics is the computer supplier of those things.
Wow. All right. Well, that was the last question.
Oh God. Questions were fine. Book was bad.
But not that bad.
But it's worse. Again, it's just then why did we do this?
Yes, because someone really wanted to.
Yeah.
Well,
it inexplicably had all 12 issues.
I meant make it, but yes.
Oh, sorry.
Look, I need to have a reason for all of these. We got a many.
The reason could be that you read them.
That doesn't make any sense. That was the last question, which means it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
That's right,
can you guess the name of the character based on someone who does not read comic books could describe that character to us? If you don't know how this works, I send a character. What?
Aggressive.
What?
Works.
If you don't know how this works. Oh, good God.
What is
Works. Absolutely nothing. I sent a photo of a DC character to my wife who does not read comic books, nor does she care for them. Are you okay?
I'm fine. My knee just... I'm fine.
Oh, my God. I sent a photo of a DC character to my wife who does not read comics, but nor does she care for them. She sends back 4 clues describing what she sees. I am very excited for this week's.
Oh, interesting. Batman.
No. Never mind. I already did that. I don't do them twice.
You did with Timberwolf.
Did I?
Yeah. And then I pointed at it, you were like, did I?
You're an idiot. All right, 4 clues. Are you ready?
I am.
I am.
I'm going to say this now because I'm almost certainly not going to get this one. And I just need...
If you don't get this, it's going to be embarrassing.
I just need a moment to appreciate
Sure.
that. I'm pretty sure I've gotten the last 5 weeks.
Well, if you don't get this, you're going to kill yourself.
I mean, it's 50-50 anyway.
This is worse than
two-face
Batman.
rules.
This is worse than Batman.
Superman.
No, like not in that way. You'll realize why.
Okay.
All right, first clue. Serious malnutrition complexion.
Jack, hacker.
No.
Dream, like Morpheus.
No.
Death.
No.
Of the Endless.
No.
Malnutrition complexion.
Yeah.
Complexion though, not structure.
Yes, that's the words.
It's not hemoglobin.
No.
Because we've done that one before
yeah.
too.
No, I know. Yeah. No.
A dominator.
No.
Okay, next clue.
Salt and pepper shakers for ears.
Salt and pepper shakers for ears?
That's correct.
Condiment King?
Yes, it's condiment. So I was like,
so it's not a metaphor. They're literal salt and pepper shakers.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
The other 2 clues were condiment ready.
Oh.
And the final clue is, please tell me his name is Condiment King.
Wait, really?
Yes.
She guessed it in making the clues?
Yes.
She guessed it?
Yes.
I mean, could you imagine you saying that clue and me not getting it?
And you're like, well, it couldn't be.
Please tell me his name's Condiment King. I was like, I don't know, Count Vertigo?
I mean, you look at the photo and it's got like a crown on his chest and he's got mustard and ketchup things. Like,
yeah, that's not his usual look either. It's a very specific costume.
Yes.
Condiment King's usually a lot more colorful.
literally has salt and pepper shaker ears.
Yeah. Well, fuck. There you go.
So funny.
I think that's 6 weeks in a row now.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, this cannot stand. I have to do something about
Neither
it.
can I.
I mean, yes.
My knees.
Yeah, it must have been because of what's the Nicolas Cage movie?
Oh, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah, it must be that. It must be your massive talent.
Yeah, where talent equals upper body.
E equals MC body.
Oh my God, could you imagine the M to get me to E?
So that is the game. That is
Cool.
our episode.
What is happening to you?
My brain, I'm getting hacked.
Oh my God.
My
Oh my God. Your disk space is shot.
God, you're fucking so cool.
Let me buffer all these fucking 3D renders.
I've got a computer. Do you want to fuck it? I don't know.
Yeah, let me de-beak it first.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. It wants nutrition. It's hungry for it. It needs to feed.
I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
Ask us about that on the Discord.
Please don't.
We'd love to hear from you, residents, and maybe you were able to guess the game this week based on the first clue. Maybe you've read the Hacker Files.
Yeah, possibly.
Bruno, Alex Jaffe. These are the people I'm looking to at this point. Who else could possibly get access to these?
I mean, I imagine it's piratable. I don't.
Maybe butt fart butt.
I don't endorse that, but
I fully endorse it because I got an anarchy shirt. I'm like a internet pirate.
Yeah, everything should be for all of us. Yeah. We're all responsible enough to handle any information we're given.
How are you both like suspicious of the government but don't want them?
I know. I know. I'm well aware of the messy contradiction of my stances on things. I'm well aware.
Why don't you send us a question for next week's episode?
Well, actually, you already have. Next week's
Holy
episode
fucking shit.
is
Ram V?
Ram V.
Holy shit.
Exactly. So, it was very, very fun chat.
It was so fun. I enjoyed it.
With Ram. I'm really excited for you to hear that, but that's next week. And also, you've also asked the questions for the week after that.
Whoa.
Just Heather Antos.
Holy shit.
So, if you have general questions or follow-up things or whatever, you can still send them to us.
Also, you can send questions about Gem World.
Yeah, so that's right. So we are recording kind of 2 episodes coming up.
Yeah.
You can send questions about Gem World or Princess Amethyst.
Yeah.
And that's for an episode.
Yeah.
And the other one you could do is send us questions about Justice League Unlimited.
There you go.
Because we'll be doing that episode as well
shit.
coming up. So, those are coming in a couple of weeks. But send those questions, send other questions.
We've got another Oops All Guests month.
Yeah.
Because we can't do anything consistently.
Because when we think about getting guests, we get
all of
them.
the guests.
And then we go, fuck.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
So why don't you send those questions to our various social media platforms like our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast.
our Twitter,
At Dr. DC.
our Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast.
My God, you can go to our email.
Dr. DC Podcast at gmail.com.
Get on internet and join our subreddit.
Yeah. C://
Nope.
R/
There it
Dr.
is.
_DC.
There it is. Yeah, absolutely.
/
Get out your fucking weenie whistle and call the doc phone.
Yeah. 208-917-3238. That's right. 208-917-DCEU. If you're nasty.
We are in the future. Take your 10 megabits of RAM and get on our TikTok.
Yeah, 10 megabits of RAM us on TikTok.
10 megabits of RAM V.
Hey, the name for the episode.
Yeah.
Don't talk about computers at all. Completely, we talk about magic. It's the opposite of a computers episode.
I mean, anything that's considered to be magic is really just science that we haven't figured out yet.
Ye of little faith. I can't remember the thing I'm supposed to be talking about.
TikTok?
Now. Oh, yeah, TikTok. Act Dr. DC.
Get back on internet and go to our website.
DrDCPodcast.com.
Don't hack us, though. It's on WordPress. You could really easily hack us.
It'd be so easy to hack
I mean,
us.
let's be honest. It's WordPress. It's probably already hacked. Why don't you?
Yeah, that's why our episodes are bad.
Oops. That's why we don't write articles. It was hacked.
Follow my lead.
Why don't you hack Apple and give us 5-star reviews? And by hacking, I mean like write code, and by that code, I mean like give us a 5-star review.
Yeah,
it's a way to hack the system.
Manipulate the code.
Yeah, get us on the homepage of Apple.
Yeah, go to the Merovingian sex dungeon and manipulate the code of Apple Podcasts to give us a 5-star review. And if you don't do it in the sex dungeon, take a screenshot and send it to us.
I mean, if you're doing
of the review,
I was just saying, like, if you're doing anything in a sex dungeon, take a screenshot.
I mean, don't take a screenshot. That's
like
a private encounter.
I want to see it. That's fine.
It doesn't matter what you want.
Well, I'm saying if you consent to it, give it to me.
I guess. Wait, are you actually saying that?
Do I want photos of people fucking? Yeah, I'll take them.
Even if you know who they are?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's still people fucking. I want to see it.
Huh. What a weird turn for this sign off.
I'd look at you fucking. I'm.
No, you wouldn't.
I mean, it'd be challenging to see, but
it should be challenging. See my wife. I would take up the whole frame. You'd be like, "Where is the other person?"
They took that from across the street.
I'm not that fat.
It's the thing skinny people say all the time.
Whatever. Fuck you guys.
Why don't you send us some physical mail to Richard Eden or Reed Vanier at 301 Hogue Street, Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada, Y1A1V8. And if you want to continue that support train, you want to run that get the conductor from Matrix and run that train.
Oh, the train man.
That's right, baby.
Yeah.
And sign up for our Patreon.
Patreon.com/DrDC. There's a $1, $5, $7 level. They all give you access to the Doc Squad, our awesome fan community. And at the higher levels, you get bonus episodes, videos, theme polls, all sorts of fun stuff. And it all helps support us.
Well, unless you use a rootkit, and then you can get at our fucking nudes.
Yeah. What is the Train Man meant to be? Like computer-wise in the Matrix. Because like Seraph is like a login screen.
Yeah.
You know, like they all kind of have like a, the key maker is like.
I don't think he's the rootkit. I can't remember what it is though. I honestly can't remember.
What is the Train Man? What's your computer's Train Man?
Yeah, it's a thing. I can't remember. Also, we have another podcast.
Yeah, Ghostfacer's a Supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We're into season 5 already.
That's right.
We talk about real world monster lore and behind the scenes stuff, and it's a ton of fun.
What up, my lore whores?
Yeah, hashtag lore whore army.
That is it for this week. Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.